Crochet this candle Christmas ornament with me. Hi there, I'm Cilla from Cilla Crochets, and I'm here to cheer you on throughout your crochet journey no matter what stage you're at. In this crochet tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this candle Christmas ornament. This is the third ornament in the 12 Days of Christmas Crochet-Along series. All the links you need are in the description below, along with timestamps, so you can go to any part of this tutorial video when you need it. If you are going to crochet this candle Christmas decoration with me, once you're finished, please do post a picture of your make on social media and tag me at Cilla Crochets. I really can't wait to see your creation and the colours that you've chosen. What you'll need to crochet this Christmas candle decoration is some DK yarn. In the original pattern, you'll see I used 3 colours, and this was Rico Ricorumi DK, as well as Rico Ricorumi Lame DK. In this case, I'm just using some scrap yarn, and I'm only going to be using 2 colours, the pink and the grey. And this yarn, I can tell you, is this Signet DK. It's acrylic yarn. I normally prefer crocheting with cotton yarn, but this is a really good opportunity to use up some of that scrap yarn I've got sitting in the cupboard from many years ago. So I encourage you to do the same and be creative with your colours. You can use lots of different colour combinations for this. Just so you know what I'm planning to do, I'm planning to do the bottom part of the candle in silver, the flame in pink, and then I'm going to go around the entire edge using the pink as well. Also for this pattern, you will need a crochet hook. I've got a 2.5mm clover or more here. If you're using US sizes, you can also use a size C, which is a 2.75mm. That will work just as well. Whatever you do, I recommend using a smaller hook than what your yarn label recommends, just so we don't have any stuffing escaping through our stitches. Speaking of stuffing, you'll need a tiny bit of stuffing if you are making your candle into a 3D decoration like mine here. You can also opt to just make a flat decoration. I will explain that as we go on into the pattern. But if you are making a 3D one, you'll need stuffing. You'll also need a tapestry needle. You'll need some scissors, a stitch marker, if you're not super confident in counting your stitches. Because this is such a narrow piece that we'll be crocheting, I won't be using one as we go through this pattern. Another optional material are sewing pins. So the sewing needles can come in handy for pinning our 2 pieces together as we go and crochet around the edge. So I just want you to know that that is an option. For this project, you only need to know some really basic stitches. If you can chain, slip stitch, single crochet, and increase and decrease with a single crochet, you'll be absolutely fine. As a side note, I will be using US terminology throughout this tutorial, so if you're used to using UK terminology, please be aware. So I will be referring to these stitches as single crochet instead of double crochet, which they are known as in the UK. I really hate doing this, but if you don't ask, you don't get. If you can do me a huge favour and subscribe to this channel, like, comment, do all of those things with this video, just to help this video get out there to more crocheters looking for free Christmas ornament crochet patterns. It just makes YouTube happy, and it helps get this tutorial out to even more people than it currently is. I really appreciate all the help. Enough from me, let's dive into the pattern. Alright, so quick note before we get started, just to let you know what direction we're crocheting in. We will start at the bottom here, work our way up, then we will fasten off, we will add new yarn to make the flame, and then we will crochet a second candle. So we make 2 candles, and then we put the candles together and we crochet around the edge. To start with, I am going to be using this silver for where the blue is here on the original one. So start with a slip knot, and then you are going to chain 5. Just to be aware that turning chains are not counted as stitches when it comes to the stitch counts of each of these rows that we'll be doing. So now starting from the second chain from your hook, so this is the first chain, this is the second chain, we're going to do 1 single crochet in each chain. Then to end the row, we chain 1 and we turn our work. Now in row 2, we are doing the same thing, but into these single crochets. So we're just doing 4 single crochets. So 1 single crochet in each stitch across. We chain 1 and we turn our work. Now we are going to repeat that pattern of 4 single crochet, chain 1, turn until we get to row 21. So we've just finished row 2. We're going to do, so row 2 to row 21 is 4 single crochet, chain 1, turn. That's 20 rows in total. I'll do one more with you, but then I will meet you at row 21. So we're not just doing the same thing over and over again. It might get a little boring for you. So let's go on and do that now. Chain 1, turn. So that's row 3 completed. Just keep doing that until you've finished row 21. All right, I'm just going to quickly check in and see how I'm going with my rows, and I want to see how you're going with yours. So let's do a quick count. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So we're getting close. Okay, so that's our 20th row. We chain 1, turn our work. Now we're up to row 21. So 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets, chain 1 and turn. And for our last row here, we have row 22, and all we're doing is 4 single crochets across. So there is no chain and turn. Four single crochet. At this point, we are going to cut our yarn and fasten off. So just yarn over and pull through all the way and pull tight, and that creates a nice little knot. Now at this point, we are going to attach our yarn for the flame. So that's our flame. We're doing ours in pink, or I'm doing mine in pink. I'd love to know what colours you're using. Let me know in the comments below what colours you're using. So at this point, remember we've just finished and tied off our yarn here. Okay, so from here now we'll attach our pink yarn for the flame, and we're going to attach it into this stitch here. So it is actually the 3rd stitch across. So we've got 1, 2, 3, that's our 4th there, but we are going to attach it to the 3rd stitch. So insert your crochet hook, then grab your color for the yarn, and then grab the color you'll be using for the flame, whatever color that is. And now to attach it, we just yarn over and pull through just like a chain stitch, and that is how we attach the yarn to that stitch. Now in row 23, which is what we're counting this as, we are going to do 2 single crochets. So we're only crocheting in the stitch that we've attached the yarn to, and then the next stitch over. We ignore this stitch at the end and this stitch at the end. We're just crocheting into the 2 middle ones. And then we'll chain 1 and we will turn our work. So let's go on and do that now. So we're doing the first single crochet, we're into the same stitch where we attached the yarn to. And then we'll do another single crochet into the next stitch. And then we'll chain 1 and turn. And that is row 23 completed. Now we're just going to be working into the pink. So into our second yarn colour that we've just attached. So going on to row 24, we're just going to do 2 single crochets into those 2 stitches. We chain 1 and we turn. So in row 25, we're going to do 2 increases. And then we chain 1 and turn. In row 26 and row 27, we do 4 single crochet, we chain 1 and turn. So moving on to row 28, we are going to decrease twice. So that is bringing these 2 stitches together with 1 stitch and then bringing those 2 stitches together with 1 stitch. So we insert our hook into the first stitch, yarn over, pull through, then insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through. Then here we will yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on our hook. That is a standard decrease. If you're used to making amigurumi and you're used to doing invisible decreases, please don't do that in this case. We're just using a normal standard decrease. So we're going to do that again in the next 2 stitches. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull through, then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And that is 2 decreases done. Then chain 1 and turn your work. For row 29, we just do 2 single crochet. For row 30, we do 1 more decrease. So that is insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, insert your hook into the second stitch, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Chain 1 and turn. You'll be glad to know this is our final row. So row 31, we're just doing 1 single crochet. And that's us done. At this point, we cut our yarn and fasten off. So to fasten off, you just grab the yarn, pull it through the loop on your hook, and then pull that tight, and that creates a nice little knot at the end. So at this point, it's a good idea to sew in your yarn tails. It will make the joining process a lot easier. So I'm going to go on and do that now. The next step is to make a second one of these if you would like to make it 3D like this one. If you don't and you just want to keep it as a flat candle, just keep playing the video and we'll go on to how to crochet around the edge. The main difference obviously will be that we are only crocheting around 1 piece, not 2. But if you want to crochet around 2 pieces like I will be doing, simply go back to the beginning of making the candle and go and make another one. All the timestamps for the video are in the description below, so go and do that now and then meet me back for assembly. But obviously, let's sew in those yarn tails first before we go on to assembly. So there is no rhyme or reason for the way that I sew in my yarn tails, but I will say that it's important to sew them all into the same side. So hopefully we can put the side where all the sewings happened on the inside of our crochet decoration, so it can't be seen as opposed to the outside. All right, so that's our yarn tails all sewn in. So at this point, go and make your second candle. and then meet me back here for assembly. All right, so I have actually made a candle already earlier. You'll notice my candles are slightly different sizes, and that is because I crocheted this honestly about 3 days ago. So completely different time, and my tension is different depending on my mood, what day it is, etc, etc. So a good top tip is if you're crocheting this as a 3D shape, crochet both of your pieces on the same day, one right after each other. You will thank me for it. However, in saying that, it's not the end of the world that they're slightly different. They're exactly the same number of rows and all of that. So when it comes to actually joining them together, it is not going to be too much of a nightmare. It will be fine. So I am going to be using the pink yarn to join my candles together. The first thing to mention is that wherever you start when it comes to joining your candles together is where you will end and where you will create this loop. So if you want to have the loop at the top, start exactly where I have started. However, if you want to change it up a little bit and put your loop somewhere else, you can absolutely do that. You could maybe put it in the corner, for example, if you wanted it like that. But I just want you to be aware that wherever you start is where you'll end and where you will create the loop. To start with, we are going to hold the two pieces together. Now, as I said, I've already pointed out mine are slightly different sized. Thankfully, because I've used acrylic, it is a little bit stretchy, so I can pull it to actually line up correctly. If you're using cotton, that would be a bit harder to do. All right, so what we'll be doing before we actually start doing it is we're going to attach the yarn to the two pieces around about here, just next to the top of the point of the flame. Then we'll do approximately 9 single crochet down the flame. In this corner stitch of the silver, we will do 3 single crochet, and then we will work our way down this piece for roughly 21 stitches. That's roughly 1 single crochet in each row down. The reason there's only 21 is because I'm not counting the corner stitch. And then when we get down to this bottom chain, we do 3 stitches in the corner, 2 in the middle, and then 3 stitches in the corner. And then we go up this side with another 21 single crochet, 3 stitches in this corner, roughly 9 around the flame, and then we will create our lovely little chain, loop, and finish off. Now, before you go on ahead of me, when we get halfway through, we're going to start to stuff our candle. So when we get to about here, we'll start stuffing our candle as we're crocheting. And that is just so it, you know, has a bit of volume to it. It has a bit of depth. All right, so now you know what we're doing. Let's get started. Let's insert your crochet hook into that side stitch of the flame. And then we will attach the pink yarn or whatever color yarn you've decided to do your edge with. So here you want to chain to attach. And then we're doing roughly, doesn't have to be exact. Please don't worry too much about your stitch count when it comes to crocheting around the edge. The main thing is to do a couple of extra stitches in the corner. So we're doing approximately 9 single crochet. And you want to make sure your hook is going into both shapes at around the, you know, the same spot on both shapes, so they're lining up correctly. That's why the pins can come in handy. So if you're finding it quite difficult to keep your shapes in line as you're crocheting, get some sewing pins out and put them into place. So that's 3, 4, having a bit of a wobble. 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do my 9th in the same stitch as this bottom one. And then I'm going to do 3 stitches in the corner single crochet of the silver. 1, 2, 3. Just making sure that you are crocheting into both sides of the shape. So now we're going down the edge. Then in this corner chain at the bottom, you want to do 3 single crochet again, all in the same stitch. Just helps us go around the corner a little bit smoother. Three. And then we're going to start to go back up the other side of the silver bit of the candle. So that is with roughly 21 stitches, but don't race ahead. We will start stuffing at some point shortly. So I think I'm gonna start stuffing now because we've got a little bit of a pocket here. So I'm just going to pull that wide, get a tiny bit of stuffing, not too much. I don't want mine firmly stuffed this time. Like, I would say that was quite firmly stuffed. I'm going to just do it lightly this time. So that's probably enough for now. So that was about the same amount of yarn as I did the first time. $17. I'm going to stuff it again a little bit. So really you're just continuously adding a little bit more stuffing as you go up. Okay, and then we're going to do roughly 9 up, but again we are going to stuff the flame as we crochet. Alright, so once you're happy with how you've stuffed your piece, we just finish crocheting up towards the top point. So I want your last stitch to be in the point of the candle. So let's do that now. So if you can see where your last single crochet was and insert your hook into both single crochets at that point, that is ideal. That is where your last stitch should go. So from here, we're going to create the loop of the candle. So for this loop, we are going to do 20 chains, and then we'll pull it back over and crochet in the same stitch again at the point. So I'll go on and do the 20 chains, but the thing I just wanted to mention is if you want the loop longer or shorter, you just adjust the number of chains stitches you do. That is my 20 chains. So once you've got the number of chains that you want, then we are going to single crochet into the same stitch where we just started from. And then we will slip stitch to our very first single crochet that was just in the side of the candle where we attached our yarn to at the beginning when we were joining the pieces together. So here we will do a slip stitch, not a single crochet. Then we'll cut our yarn, leave a little bit, a tiny bit of a longer thread for sewing. Here we'll fasten off. So that is our loop currently as it stands. Now if we leave, you can leave it like that, that's fine, but I personally want to see that point of the flame. So to do that, I'm going to actually sew that final thread through the bottom 2 chains here. So they're pinched together and that looks a little bit more pointed. There we go. I just like having that pointed bit at the top of the candle. So once you've done that, all we need to do is sew in our yarn strands. And that is our candle Christmas tree decoration completed. And we are done. I hope you've enjoyed this candle Christmas ornament crochet pattern, and I really can't wait to see your candle Christmas ornament. Please do post a picture and put it on social media, tagging me at Cilla Crochets, so I can have a look at your make and give you some love. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see the next Christmas ornament crochet videos. I will be putting them all in a playlist, but if you do hit that subscribe button, turn the little bell on so you get notified when the new video goes live. Until next time, happy crocheting!